Hey folks, this is Dr. Burke Mays, Pathways Integrative Health Center. Today I'm here talking with you about the 5 essential C's to good digestive health. You know, if you're dealing with sort of digestive issues or whatever it might be that you're experiencing, these 5 things you want to implement before you do see any specialists or take any specialized supplements or do any advanced testing. Or if you've already done those things, you want to start to implement these as soon as possible. So C number 1 is choose. You want to choose the right foods that are nourishing for your body, that aren't stressful for your body. You know, we all have, or many of us have certain addictions or vices or just certain foods we eat that make us feel good. Sometimes that can be mental emotional components to it. Very often there's a neurochemical change that happens. We take things like glucose or sugar. Sugar is a very powerful chemical for the brain. They say in studies that rats and mice, if you give them cocaine and sugar, they'll prefer sugar over cocaine. Very powerful compound. You can also have things, foods that break down into molecules that are called glutamorphins or casomorphins that are opiate-like compounds that give us a little bit of a feeling of satisfaction, that feel good. So sometimes foods can have an addictive component. Or we have foods we eat that we just know aren't healthy for us. Those are easy for us to eliminate if sometimes we do some planning and thinking ahead with our foods. And lastly, we have foods we eat that we know cause trouble, that give us heartburn, make us gassy or bloated. And number 1, you want to try and avoid those. And then number 2, which is the beauty of functional wellness, of asking the question, why does that bother you and doesn't bother somebody else, and try and sort out that issue. C number 2 is chew. You need to chew our food. Chewing is really, really important. When we chew our food, your mouth releases enzymes to start to break the food down. You break it down into small pieces because we can't digest large chunks of food in our digestive system. And it also tells the rest of our digestive tract what's coming to get ready for it. So they say we want to chew our food about 40 times. And that's going to seem like a lot when you start to experiment with that. And I think a lot of that has to do with how rushed and busy we are, which I'm going to talk about here in just a moment. And sometimes, don't forget, sometimes some people, it hurts to chew. They could have poor fitting dental work, or they could have root canals or different dental issues that make it hurt to chew. I mean, I had that with myself. I had a crown done, and my mouth started to hurt when I was chewing. And I was complaining to my dentist, and he goes, dude, you are grinding your teeth at night. You need a mouth guard. And so sometimes simple things like that can relieve that stress on the jaw so that it becomes easier to chew your food as long as you should. So sometimes a theory to do is you want to drink your solids and chew your food, chew your liquids. You want, if you eat something that's solid, you want to chew it enough that's almost liquid-like, and it's easier to digest. And if you're doing something liquid like a smoothie or a shake or one of the functional foods I recommend to patients, you want to let that sit in your mouth and kind of move it around and let saliva and let that enzymes mix with that and to stimulate your nervous system and your gut to be ready to digest that. So that's number 2. Number 3 is just chill. I mean, so often you take somebody at lunchtime or breakfast time, they're grabbing something as they run out the door, and then they're at lunchtime at work and they have half an hour to eat, because we don't do lunch hours anymore. We have a half hour to eat. So you rush to get your food, you rush to eat it, you rush to put it away to get back to your workstation, or you work through your lunch. You're answering emails, you're doing work things while you're eating, and your mind is not in the state to eat. Or when you get home, now you got family running one way, you got sports activities over here, you're eating on the go. We never get into the state we call rest and digest. Rest and digest is your parasympathetic nervous system. That's your recovery mode. The opposite is our sympathetic nervous system, which is how we spend most of our day in our life. Our sympathetic nervous system is our fight or flight. And if you think about it, if you're running for your life, what do you not care about? You don't care about digesting your lunch. Now, there's varying degrees of running for our life, but sometimes just we're in a very stressful environment, stressful world. We drive, there's the news, there's everything going on around us. We need to take that time to kind of dial down and rest and digest, which leads to C number 4, which is cherish, appreciation. It's for the large part, for us, starvation and famine is not an issue for most of us in our culture. But if you go back a couple hundred years, 1,000 years, people might not go find food for a couple days. So when they do find that food, they are so thankful they have it. Like, there's food to live. And for us, our food is just so automatic. We swipe a credit card, we have it delivered to us, or we don't take that time to appreciate where it came from, who raised it, who gathered it, who cooked it, that moment of just appreciating what you have. That's really important. People are people of faith. They do grace before meals. I think that's important. Just that pause and acknowledgement of how awesome it is to have food easily accessible. And also gratitude is, studies show the emotion, the experience of gratitude stimulates that rest and digest response in our body. Then the C number 5 is check. And that kind of has two folds to it. One, when you deal with people talking about gut health, we get really interested in poop. We're like 5-year-olds. But our bowel movements are really important. We can see how we're digesting our food and how things are functioning by observing what we see. If things are really hard and bumpy, that means we have a slow transition time and things aren't healthy in that fashion. Or if it's more runny, that means there's more of a diarrhea, there's other issues happening, or if there's different colors or different consistencies, all are valuable information. So there's a chart, if you go online, it's called the Bristol Stool Chart. It's a good idea. Pull that up, take a look at that, and look and see what you have and what you create. Lastly is gut testing. I don't do a lot of gut testing in my office, but checking that is important in some cases. But sometimes I find that the therapeutic approach to deal with bad, not enough enzymes or parasites or what we call dysbiosis, too much or too little of the good and bad bacteria. All of those, sometimes the testing for is more expensive than the therapeutic approach, and often the therapeutic approach even might not help it. The person's still better off in the long run. So I don't do a lot of testing with that, but there can be certain situations where it's valuable. So to review the 5 C's: 1, you want to choose the right foods. 2, you want to chew them. 3, you want to chill out and relax, and you want to have some, and then you want to cherish or have some gratitude, and you want to check. Those are the 5 C's. Hope that's valuable for you. Thanks for watching. If you're seeing this on social media, hit like and feel free to share it if you want. Otherwise, thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.